Well, I've got something really fun that I want to do today, and for some reason I thought it was going to be warm because they said it was going to be warm and it was warm in the house. But I came out here without a jacket on. It's 46 degrees, so I'm going to show you what's going on, then I'm going to go back in and put something on that's warmer. I have some koa that viewer Rick gave me. It was in a box of other wood that he gave me, and you've seen some of the cherry. This is beautiful wood. It's really not big enough to make, wide enough anyways, to make a decent sized bowl unless I split it, glued it together, make a bowl from a board. If you look at this grain, I decided to cut these into strips and make segments because it will show off that grain a lot better. So I'm going to go get something warm on. I'll come back and meet you at the bandsaw. I just showed some cutting of these strips from the larger pieces. I got them to the height that I want of the segments and the width that each row needs. And I didn't show a lot of that because it's not real exciting, but you got the idea what it looks like. Same thing here when I start cutting the segments. Here's one of the segments that's about the average size of all of them. So I'm going to show some of that, but I won't make you watch all of it because it does look the same. So let's go ahead and start cutting these, and I'll keep them separated because they have different widths. And when I come back, we'll start gluing them together. I had the wedge sitting out to show you how many segments we're doing per row. I'm doing 18 segments per row, and each side of that segment is 10 degrees. So the included angle is 20. So 20 times 18 is 360, and that should make a complete circle. Let's hope it does. Alright, I've got 7 rings to glue up, and my voice might sound funny because, well, I'm not feeling really good right now. But I want to get these rings glued up, let them set, and hopefully work on them in a couple days. I'm only going to show you 2 of them, and on the first one I want to explain my glue process on segments. I don't know if anyone else does it, I just do it how I do it. I've been doing it that way for quite some time. On smaller segments like this. On a bigger one it might be different. But I don't know if you can see all this, but I'll get glue on one end and I'll put more in there than what you think you need. That's because I'm going to just touch those 2 segments together. I'm not going to push them together. While it sits there, that glue will soak into the end grain on the other one that I didn't put glue on. That is my process. So I'll just keep doing that, and I'm not going to show you every time, but I'm going to get glue like that, and we'll put it in place. Alright, so I'm just going to keep doing that. It looks like I just showed you. There's glue enough to do both sides. Okay, I'm going to just put a flat disc on here, like that. Put this little steel cylinder that started out as a chuck adapter, and I'm going to put that on there. Take a couple rubber bands, put those up here. I'm going to clamp it down so it doesn't slide, and then we're going to take one at a time and put a rubber band around those. Okay, now if I take this off, see how it just is closing itself up? I can just push each one of these into place, and that glue is still slippery enough. It hasn't really grabbed that I can do this. If you push the segments together right at the start, it's going to be stuck there. You're not going to be able to make an adjustment. So if you want to do it this way, don't push them together until you're ready to clamp it, like this. So that looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and put this on here and just let it sit for about maybe 10 minutes. I'll come back and do the second one. I have my Longworth chuck set up on an arbor that fits in my tailstock. I made a base out of burnt oak or roasted oak, whichever you want to call it. Where I get it, they call it Cambia oak, Cambia red oak. I hot glued a tenon on it, and I'm now going to get glue on this ring, and we're going to glue it on here. I have a total of 7 rings to do. I've marked it where the glue goes. I also have marked it to locate it correctly for rotation, because we want to have a nice stagger on the segments. I have 5 rings glued in place. I'm going to go ahead and give the outside a little bit of a shape and the inside, and then I'll glue the other rings on. Doing about 800 RPM with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. I decided to go ahead and turn this with the lathe running in reverse, and I have my set screw locked in place. My back is a little sore and I don't feel like reaching over here and trying to turn it from that side. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and get more rings glued on. this is pretty close to my drawing. I think I'll go ahead and do some blending with the negative brick scraper. I can do some nice subtle blends on these radiuses and the little coves in there. Alright, I'm all set to sand this, and because of the shape that's on here, I'm not going to use my 2-inch disc on a power drill because I don't want to disturb the shape I already put on there. So I'm going to use sheets of paper starting with 80 grit. I'll do the outside up to 400, show you some of that, and the inside, it's going to be hard to see in there, so I'll just go ahead and get that sanded up, and when I come back we'll have to decide what we're going to use for a finish. So we're going to be spinning in reverse at about 400 RPM. 345, let's see how that works. You know, it really depends on how well the paper's doing as the speed, but if it's this size, usually 400 is good. Some woods don't sand the same, so I'm doing this one at 345, and it's sanding really nice. Okay, time to put the finish on it. I'm going to use Minwax polyacrylic, and I'll put the Minwax water-based sanding sealer on it first. Now that's not real impressive with the first coat. It's kind of milky looking, so this time I'm going to let it dry, wipe it down, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it goes on the second time. It'll be a lot more impressive. So let's go ahead and get this on. See, it's kind of milky looking, but it won't be on the next coat. And I like to let that really soak in. I like to put lots of it on there. It's really hard to see the beauty of the grain with the looks of this, but I'm going to show you what it really looks like. I know I've done it and not shown you, and it doesn't seem fair. So today we're going to do it so you can see what the grain really looks like. Alright, I think this is pretty dry. I just buffed it out with the fine Scotch-Brite. Here is the second coat of the water-based sanding sealer. And I'm going to wipe that milkiness off of there so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to finish the outside and the inside and come back and remove that hot glued tenon. That is such a beautiful piece of wood. Beautiful piece of many woods. Well, here it is. I think it looks pretty nice, but it is koa. Finished about 6 inches in diameter and 4 inches tall. And I used the burnt oak for the base, and then I put a piece of cherry that I recessed down into here. For the finish, I used Minwax water-based sanding sealer and Minwax polyacrylic, 2 coats of each. And then I went over it with the Abrasive paste and polish to give it an extra nice finish. This is going to look great on the turntable. So special thanks to Rick for giving me that koa. And I know I sure had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor. Click that like button and feel free to leave a comment. Both of those things will really help my channel grow. I do lots of different types of turnings, and you never know what might be next. So be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And a special thanks to all my current subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So, till the next time, see you later.